Hi, my name is Tasmin Raju, student number 21201299, and this is my PowerPoint presentation for the development learning gap in either literacy or mathematics as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So if we look at the key points, we will be discussing the impact of COVID, the effects and issues in education, the challenges to teaching in COVID, and finally take a look at the action plan on how I plan to overcome the gap in either literacy or mathematics as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The impact of COVID-19 in education. So according to Statistics South Africa, the option of remote learning were given to more students in urban areas than those students in rural areas. The disruption in the learning process left learners in a mental distress, violent exposure, reduced social skill development, and even having missed meals leading to malnutrition. So some of the issues we can look at is progression, dropout, and repetition. So in this case, there was a backlog of learners repeating the same grade. Many learners were dropping out of school, and there was a challenge for them to progress to the next grade, because here we can see there was a challenge in assessment and academic process. So it was very difficult for teachers to assess learners to put them through to the next grade. Loss of structured support. So when you enter a school environment, there's certain rights and responsibilities from the teacher that need to be given and from the learners and the students. For example, classroom rules and sticking to the school rules as well. Those things were not being able to be implemented because there was no physical environment for the learners to be in and act out these rules. Okay, so assessing students online would be a challenge. So before, when there was physical contact learning, teachers used to use the chalkboard or the blackboard, use physical resources, and now they had to adapt and learn how to use online resources, which could be time consuming. There also would be a limited interaction. So there's no physical interaction. And this really helps keep the learners engaged and really grasp concepts with that face-to-face interaction. Setting questions to be answered through available software. Now it's time for the end of the term where it's assessment week, and teachers now had to change their ways of usually giving them the platform for learners to explore how to problem solve, really see that, for example, long division, how do they solve it, or long addition. Now they had to configure to the concept of true and false question, multiple choice questions. And this would really challenge the teachers to see exactly where did this learner go wrong. It would be hard to pinpoint the learner's weaknesses in the problem solving. Okay, some other ways and how the learners and the teachers adapted to COVID-19. It's they implemented remote learning, digital resources, and self-paced learning. But not a lot of learners and a lot of schools were given these opportunities. Okay, so to begin my action plan in bridging the developmental learning gap in mathematics and literacy post-COVID, the first step would to be implement a learning propensity assessment device, which is something that we use, a tool that we use to assess the learner's strengths and weaknesses in either mathematics or literacy. So for example, we can say exactly, okay, this learner is struggling in phonics specifically. This learner is struggling with sentence structure. This learner is struggling to solve addition, sums, or multiplication. And then the next step that we would take is shaping and modifying the environment. For example, we can modify the classroom rules. You can even ask the learners to add a personal touch to their desk where they sit. We can implement a reading corner in our classroom and implement a mathematics corner where we display resources and posters of shapes, for example, or a number chart as well, weather chart as well. So some insightful solutions. We can send the learners for extra mathematics classes, encourage learners to get books from the library by hosting a reading competition. So when I was in school, we had a reading competition for each class. What happened was there was a worksheet that you had to fill out for every book that you have read. You had to fill out the title and a blurb from the book, as well as the date that you completed reading the book. And at the end of the term, for the learner who read the most books in the class would win a prize. Okay, we also need to focus on parents. Parents need to guide learners with homework and give them that support. Hire a tutor if necessary. Teachers need to implement structured intervention programs promoting good behavior and mathematics intervention program focusing on areas such as numeracy and problem solving. And for English, we have to implement an English language learning program to help students learning English. For those students who are learning English as a second language, can offer occupational therapy and a reading intervention program. Giving learners a personalized learning experience by means of differentiated instructions, giving different materials for different reading levels. Okay, the integration of metacognitive strategies. We need to teach students these strategies, such as planning, monitoring, evaluating their own learning, and encouraging them to ask themselves questions, as well as the think aloud technique. We encourage students to vocalize their opinion when answering questions and questioning the question, if that makes sense. We need to teach learners metacognition questioning techniques, reading the text and monitoring their comprehension, and teaching students problem-solving techniques using visual aids. Okay, so we also need to use technology. So using technology, online collaborative tools like the mathematical and literacy games or platforms that you find online. Okay, teacher training and professional development. We need to provide training such as workshops to teach our educators how to implement Feuerstein's mediated learning experience. We need to collaborate with parents and the community and organizations such as the library. We can also ask our teachers in the classroom to implement Feuerstein Instrumental Enrichment Program, which is a cognitive intervention that focuses on thinking and learning skills. It's a structured approach to problem solving. So if we click on this link over here, it will take us to a site that will provide activities for learners to use in improving their problem solving skills. Educators can use the instrumental enrichment level 2 instruments such as the transitive relations, which involve verbal, numerical, pictorial, graphic, and symbolical modalities for subjects such as mathematics and literacy. We can also use numerical progressions, which involve students using numerical and symbolic modalities to identify and predict future events and problem solving as well. Okay, so if you clicked on the link on slide 15, it would open up an activity. So this is an example of the activity, which falls under the representational stencil design and acquired through other instruments like organization of dots. So this is an organization of dots activity. So it says here, for the given geometric shapes, the student must reorient and transform the dots within the frames that are differently arranged. So this will help with comparison, categorization, and promoting applications in tasks requiring complex internalized representational behavior. So this will particularly help develop mathematical skills. By implementing Feuerstein's mediated learning approach, educators can create a learner-centered environment that emphasizes active participation, engagement, critical thinking, and collaborative learning. Through personalized feedback, guidance, and support, educators can empower students to set goals and monitor their progress and take responsibility for their own learning. A learner-centered teaching environment prioritizes the needs, interests, and strengths of the individual students, empowering them to take ownership of their own learning journey. And this is my reference list as well. Thank you so much.